Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minutes Neuroimaging with Bijoy Thomas. Today we will discuss about some applied embryology of the hindbrain. In the last episode I told that we will take medulloblastoma as the index pathology to explain embryology of the hindbrain. The medulloblastomas were classified conventionally by histopathology till 2007, and medulloblast, the term is actually a misnomer. There is nothing called medulloblast cells from which these tumors are arising, but they are a diverse group of tumors. With this seminal paper from in Lancet Neurology in 2007, we to know that they are entirely different molecular subtypes of medulloblastomas, which are divided basically into four types in the 2016 WHO classification as Wnt, sonic hedgehog, and group 3 and group 4 medulloblastomas. And what is more interesting is that based on the location and the enhancement characteristics, we can actually predict these subgroups. The importance is that the prognosis and the treatment decisions now varies depending on the molecular subgroup. In 2014, Dr. Perot and colleagues have actually shown in this AJNR article, based on location, we can differentiate between these molecular subtypes. How this is happening, for example, the Wnt subtype is going more towards the lateral recess of the fourth ventricle or the cerebellopontine angle, and the sonic hedgehog towards the hemisphere of the cerebellum. In order to understand why this happens, and this can be predicted based on location heat maps as shown in their paper, we need to understand little more deep into the embryology. By fourth week of gestation, the developing brain has got 3 vesicles and 2 flexures: the prosencephalon, the mesencephalon, and the rhombencephalon, and the cephalic as well as the cervical flexures. The rostrocaudal growth of the brain, as well as differentiation of its different structures, as well as the relative length of these brainstem structures, depend on the anterior-posterior patterning or the craniocaudal patterning of the brain. Like we have previously seen, that this is actually determined by the genetic influence of different signaling proteins like FGF8 and 17, and also OTX-GBX. In addition, there is a dorsoventral patterning, and these two processes together constitute how the brain is finally formed. The cerebellum develops from the rostral portion of the mesencephalon, and it develops from the rhombomer 1, and it has got two distinct germinal matrices, one from the medial ventricular zone and the lateral rhombic lip. From the medial ventricular zone, the GABAergic cells, especially the Purkinje fiber cell layer, migrates radially into the cerebellar anlage. At the same time, from the lateral part of the ventricular zone and the rhombic lip, there is a tangential migration of the granular cell precursor cells to the external granular cell layer. These are the excitatory neurons, and by the age of 25 weeks of gestation, the external granular cell layer acts as a secondary germinal zone, and it starts proliferating under the influence of sonic hedgehog, and this is why probably the SHH pathway medulloblastomas occur in the lateral cerebellar hemispheres. By 30 to 40 weeks, these proliferating cells start migrating radially backwards again under the guidance of the Bergman radial fibers through the molecular layer to form the internal granular cell layer. This again is a very complex process, and is influenced by multiple signaling pathways, as shown in this neurographics paper beautifully well, and also very well explained in the Joseph Volpe's 2009 article in Journal of Child Neurology. The cerebellum continues to increase in volume and also shows rotations by from 20 to 40 weeks in order to take the final shape at birth. But even after birth, in the first year of life, a cerebellum continues to uh, evolve by almost dissipating the external granular cell layer completely. The outermost layer is now formed with the molecular layer, and the limited by the pi. And did you notice the number of granule cells in the mature cerebellum is almost 4 times that of neurons in the cerebrum, because they are very tiny, they are packaged into a small little brain out there. Otherwise our cerebellum would have been much bigger, and this hairstyle would have never gone out of fashion, and our helmets would have looked like this. From this Nature paper in 2010, we know that the lower rhombic lips R2 to R8 actually contributes to the development of the brainstem nuclei, especially the pontine nuclei, and it is influenced by the wind pathway. That's why the wind pathway medulloblastomas going along the margins of the lateral recess and the foramen of Lashka, even though they appear central, but they are actually already always off-centered, and that's why it is going along this direction into the CP angle as shown in this beautiful paper by Sot and Pette. Hope you understood how these different medulloblastomas behave differently based on embryology. I hope you enjoyed this video too. Your suggestions are welcome. Thank you very much.